Oh,
trolls in here?
fucking offensive patient bullshit.
Holy what?
Holy what balls?
I'm
What
eating
the
curly
fu-
fries.
What
leave
did
me
she
alone.
just say?
Meow.
Ma'am?
Meow.
We just started. We wait like 30 minutes before we get horny.
That's up to you, fucker.
You're the one that was doing the horny cat noises.
Wait, what?
How is that horny?
I'm confusion. Oh,
Okay.
Waffle's already gone live. Fuck. We should probably. Yes.
I think we've all gone live except for you.
No. Let me go live. I'm just gonna go live.
Okay. I just
No,
closed
it's
out.
okay.
I just closed out the Elgato thing. Like right after I was like, "That's up to you, fucker." That wasn't horny at all. How could that be horny? And I clicked off the Elgato no signal thing, and it went to the background that says, "I don't like the feeling of Eggman in my asshole."
Yeah, that's quite the line for me to start my stream up to. Mm-hmm.
Welcome, chat, to the stream.
Well, I mean, it'll be the first thing that they hear if anyone decides to watch the VOD from the beginning.
I wonder what this is all about.
And
We
it's like,
are setting the tone perfectly, I think.
I hate this. Let's see.
It was really loud. I
it's
should probably
time
turn it down.
for Borderlands Tuesday.
Did we
That's
all
what it's
name our
called officially. What?
Yeah. Did we all name our streams some variant of Borderlands Tuesday?
No.
Uh-huh.
No, we did.
I did.
I did.
Yes.
Mine is Vig game.
Oh yes. You're fine.
Mine is Borderlands Tuesday, but I put the number 2.
I put the word for number 2 in it.
Well, if everybody's doing it. Hold on, I gotta fuck with the pronouns.
Oh yeah, I don't have pronouns on my Fugi overlay. That's a thing they should have, but you know, whatever.
That is something they should have. That'd be cool. But I gotta
now-
do it myself.
And now it's time for everyone to get.
Yeah, sorry that I'm like super not ready. I'm so tired. I'm so fucking tired. I'm like still eating.
You're
Me
My
too.
day wasn't the worst. It just like was very not great either.
Okay,
How's everybody
today
else?
can't be worse than tomorrow. Today can't be any worse than tomorrow because you have to voice Levitz Slambird again.
I'm okay. I'm okay with voicing Levitz Slambert.
Everyone gets retagged all over again every time.
Woo!
You tagging me?
Tagging. You're it.
That was like
I'm gonna
really
be-
hard.
And now, let's see if hi Claptrap. And now we see if I start getting frame drops due to rendering lag, because Borderlands. I put it down pretty low on the graphics, so hopefully not.
God, I have no idea what mine are even like at. I was gonna launch it and like fuck with shit before the stream started. But then I realized I need a nap. Or I'm going to die.
Naps. Naps are important.
Alright, here's the thing. Everybody else is doing it.
Okay.
My stream title is now changed.
Okay.
I changed it to what it's called in PAL.
Fair. That's the one I want.
Did you do Borderlands Tuesday?
Shoot. Oh,
Did you put
that's good. I'll accept that.
That's what it's called in
Did
PAL.
you put in it at the end?
Fucking I
Oh.
can my
Is it
stream title
Tuesday
so many
in it?
times.
Borderlands Tuesday in it.
There we go. That's for all you in Europe.
Yeah.
Oh, Waffle's deafened. I was like,
Probably.
I was like,
probably
I was
doing
like,
their,
I was like,
probably
okay,
doing
okay.
their intro.
Okay, good.
Waffle
Like,
is
everyone shut the fuck
moderately
up.
professional.
What?
Waffle is moderately professional when they stream.
That's not what I'm about.
I usually am, but tonight I just said, fuck it.
Good.
You can't be professional and play Borderlands. Come on.
Right. The whole point of Borderlands is it's just the stupidest, silliest, craziest fucking thing ever.
God, I
While
hope
still
so.
having a semblance of sanity. But it's a very, very small semblance. Okay, okay, I can plug here, okay. I'm just making sure I've got the right channels I can plug. I probably should not bother plugging in Mist since we're all there. Everyone will find everyone from there.
We're not playing Mist, we're playing Borderlands.
Yeah, trust me, I want to
play Mist co-op, dummy.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah, you can. It's called Escape Room.
True.
No, I like the actual Steam game Escape Room, which is multiplayer. Wait, you can't hear the audio? What the hell? Yep.
I thought you just meant escape rooms.
I would love to do escape rooms with like.
Can hear Borderlands. Hold on, I gotta see what's going on because apparently. Oh, yeah, that's what's gonna. So remember how I said that I had to change my audio for things? Yeah, I had to do that I have to do it for OBS too.
Oh yeah.
Device not connected. Desktop audio 2. That's my mic. Is my Blue Snowball.
That's
mic
bullshit.
2 is. Wait, hold on. Which one's mic 2? I believe is Discord.
You have more than one mic? Damn.
Apply that one. Okay, now you can hear me. Goody goody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Borderlands 2 launcher.
Discord audio.
What's happening?
Hold on.
Oh, I forgot I had a launcher.
You're fine.
Of course it does. Every game needs a launcher.
Okay.
Hi, Waffle.
Hi, Waffle.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that this is Discord then. To headset, earphone chat. Right. All right. I think I got it right. Did I get it right?
I don't know.
Yes, I got it
Let
right.
me do.
Yay, I got it
something
right.
quickly here.
Sick.
Let me do something quickly here. Since I'm playing Gage, unbind, reload.
Full
I have to fix that because I still
Full
have
energy.
that set.
Full
I
energy
love that.
tree. I see how it is.
Yup.
Oh shit! I almost forgot to put my 7-key mouse side on. Heck. There we go.
Hell yeah.
Now I gotta remember what my buttons are exactly. Options, keyboard, mouse, keybinds.
There's no actual way to unbind it, so I'm just gonna put my reload to P.
Yeah, the very unlikeliest button for you to press on this game.
Yeah.
Unless you go to hit O and fumble.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I hope you don't. I hope
that's
you don't. I love Anarchy though. It's so
Yeah.
freaking fun. It's so fun.
What is Q used for again?
It's one of the abilities, I believe. I don't know. Wait, did I rebind it?
I have that currently bound to mute and unmute Discord.
Hold on. Q is
melee.
secondary use. Secondary
Yeah,
use. There are some very very specific points where you want to use an alternate fire or something on an item.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember where it's actually used, but it's
Yeah.
very uncommon.
Okay, it'll be fine.
Oh, I rebound that to melee.
All right. All right.
Oh,
so
V is my secondary. Yeah, because like V
yeah,
for
that will
melee
work.
is like. Bleh.
Okay, a few frames from rendering lag, and it might just be from when I'm tabbing in and out. So I think we're good.
I'm dropping 13% of my frame.
Oh no! Time to
That's a
change
good
your
start.
video setting. Oh, also I've got my preview up because I was testing things, but preview is fine. I can disable that. That'll save a few processes on my computer.
Someone in chat make sure to read all these terms of services things for me, so later I know if I sign up for something bad. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
You
thank
signed
you.
your solo away to Randy Pitchford.
This game came out in 2022. Jesus.
But then again, you already did that when you bought the game, so if you
Damn it.
didn't buy the game, then someone else sold your soul away.
No, I bought this collection for like $2.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I mean, $2 to that's not too bad.
Yeah, I want to stress that's the only reason I have this, because I was like, if anybody ever wants to play Borderlands, I guess I have it.
What was I doing? I completely. Oh, right. I was going to grab my keybinds here. First of all, I got to make sure it's on the correct profile, which it's not. There we go.
Oh,
Slide.
I figured out what my problem was. For some reason, I was recording.
Oh. Yeah, that'll do it.
Sick.
Good job.
Listen, I'm gonna just restart my stream.
That's totally valid. I am going to quickly run. Okay, I see you. Yeah, 1 second. I just gotta write down exactly what my mouse keybinds are so I don't forget. Because I set them based on the game and then I completely promptly forgot it because I didn't immediately play it. So I have V, that's for the melee. E and Q for the U's. Yep. C for whatever. R for reload. Yep. Tab and G for grenade. Yep.
I know
So-
why it happened. Why
Why?
I started recording. So I have a record hotkey for when I'm like recording like combos and stuff to like post on Twitter.
Gotcha.
It's the number pad 7, and I had to
Oh.
put in. I had to put a two-factor authentication thing in, and there was a 7 in the code.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
All right. So, Aiden, what you want to do is you want to select character.
I think I already crashed the game.
Hell yeah!
Let's go.
Good start.
Earlier in Discord, when we were like, everybody was getting ready and shit, and I was on my way home, I'm like, my day was stressful, but it's okay, because I got gummy worms, I got root beer,
Yum.
and I have a shimmering hope that my Borderlands 2 install won't fucking explode when I get home and set this all up.
Oh, fuck, I did it again.
What did you do?
Have hope?
No, I went to close the invite window from Duckie and it closed Steam.
Ah,
Oh.
But
Borderlands 2
2
not
game should be
responding.
fine.
So I also crashed my game.
Oh my gosh.
go!
Now we all have to. Now we all have to.
Yeah, I already crashed it earlier. I had to restart my computer.
My
And
friend
I am
Daniellikins is
very-
in chat, everybody.
Yay!
Everyone say hello to my
Hello.
friend or else.
Hello,
Hello.
Daniellikins.
Hello.
Hello, Aiden's friend Danielle Eakins.
Yeah. Yep, that chat thing seems to be working pretty well.
All right, that was a pretty good that was a pretty good greeting. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
That was like all right.
Also, not gonna lie, the main reason why I want to play Gage is because I tend to have issues with like connectivity in Borderlands games. So if I just don't need to aim, then it's fine.
Yeah, you don't
Yep.
need to aim. It's a shooter.
Well, no,
That's what aim
it's
assist is
You
for.
don't for that character.
for that one. You
okay.
literally do not need to aim.
Yeah. So Gage has an ability called Anarchy, which is every time she gets a kill or reloads her weapon from an empty magazine, she gets 1 stack, and for every stack, she deals more damage but has less accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1% for each stack. Both those.
Up to 500%, I think.
It starts at 150, and then you can increase that with other
Yeah.
skills.
I think
Yeah.
it's up to 500 with other skills, and then I think it's up to 750 if you have the right character mod.
Yep.
I'm trying my hardest, everybody. While I'm
Whereas
setting this
She also
up,
has
I'm the
She
other way
also
around.
Yeah, you need to not hit.
I need the most
Or not
precision possible.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's why I go with 0 because I love sniping. So I always go with the shoom.
While I'm setting this up and trying to make sure everything's not shit, by the way.
Yep.
Did I interrupt something? Sorry, go on.
No.
No.
No,
you
we
sure?
just finished.
Okay. So here's the gimmick of this stream. Everyone else in the voice call, my good friends Duckie, Virtue, and Waffle, fucking love this game. I don't know shit. I played it with a transphobe friend way back in the day, offline.
Ooh.
And he loved that shit.
I am so sorry.
So I'm gonna be reintroduced to it. I mean, he didn't really sway my opinion on it that much. I played it again on my own, so that was my last like actual opinion on it. But I played Borderlands alone, so we're gonna try this again.
Oh yeah, it's so much better with friends.
Yeah, this game sucks playing it solo.
It's that. I mean, there's a reason why Gage is my highest. Gage, because Gage you can do things solo fairly easily. You just say, hey, Death Trap, buff,
Yeah.
and then you work on yourself. But you buff Death Trap so that he doesn't let anything get to you, and then you say, oh, by the way, I'm doing damage now too.
Yeah.
I'm lagging up a storm.
Yeah, I think you start with like 11 points in Death Trap, and then you work on whichever either Elemental or Anarchy you want to do.
That actually doesn't look bad. Cap
I'm just
3
gonna
FPS
go-
doesn't look that bad.
I'm just
Cap
going
is 60 to
full
low.
anarchy.
Yep. Well, the only reason I have it capped is because it will kill my stream otherwise.
I
Not
think this doesn't look
full
bad.
anarchy. I'm putting 5 points into the other tree that has the close enough skill. But other
Fair.
than that, it's full anarchy.
Yep. No, that's. I mean, you gotta have close enough. Duh.
It feels weird to me that they put them in separate like, have you ever played Borderlands Reborn?
No.
Can't say I have.
It's
What
like
is that?
it's a massive overhaul mod for Borderlands 2 where like
Cool.
they rebalanced the characters, changed all the drops, added new weapons, yada yada yada. But one of the changes they did for Gage is that they put close enough in the anarchy tree, and they also lowered the max amount of anarchy stacks you can get, but they increased how much each stack gives.
Changes. Got it.
Okay.
So I think you cap out at 100 stacks, but like it's still equivalent to the same amount of damage as what it was before.
Got it. Yep. So
That
it's
makes
faster. It's faster to get to that max. Is the
Yeah.
point? Good. That sounds good.
Okay, I'm back up and running again.
That's
Get
good.
your
I think I'm maybe good.
looks it.
Do you want to send me another invite, Ducky?
It looks kind of shit. Hold on.
I can get you.
I'm
I
stop
can
the
get
recording.
Okay.
you. Yeah.
I don't like stopping the
Um,
recording. I need to get another PC at some point in the future.
Yeah.
I think that was, or no, actually, that might not have been a problem. I might not have to stop the recording. I should have
Yeah,
just paused it. Oh well.
don't forget
Fuck it,
to-
this
don't
won't be
forget to switch-
recording.
Don't forget to switch your character. Waffle. Here, I will also
Alright, I
invite.
think I'm as good as I'm gonna get.
So there's the invite.
Key bindings.
Good news is next week we don't have to worry about most of this.
Yeah, because we're figuring it out this week. Necromancer details coming soon. Thanks, Premiere Club.
I love it. I love it. It's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah, they just never updated it.
they never did. Classic Gearbox. Can you just stop? Okay. Okay. So Aiden, what you want to do is go to select character,
Would love
and
to.
then, oh, okay, and then pick either Commando or Gunzerker, whichever one you decided you wanted to play.
Gunzerker, I think.
Okay.
The two-gun one?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Let's
Oh,
figure
y'all
out
ready?
Whatever the
to
hell
go?
this is. I think I'm ready.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good.
So, you want to hear another story, huh?
Would love to hear another
One
story.
where the very fate of Pandora hangs in the balance. If not, too bad. I'm telling you anyway.
I love
They're telling us
Marcus.
anyway.
First, there was the vault. An alien prison opened with
I love
immediate
Marcus. He's so
To the
sarcastic.
warriors,
Yeah.
the vault was just a container.
He's the true
of
protagonist.
Tentacles.
That's the
of
robot's name, right?
Hmm?
They vanished
Claptrap?
into the wastelands.
Yeah, Marcus.
Certain that the vault
Claptrap.
held no treasure
Nope.
at all.
Mm.
They
Oh,
were
excuse me.
wrong. The vault's opening triggered the growth of iridium, a priceless alien element. Soon, the rare and valuable mineral emerged all across Pandora. Its appearance attracted many, including the Hyperion Corporation.
Fuck corpse.
They came to Pandora
Yep.
to mine iridium.
Yeah, that's
and
basically
bring
Borderlands.
order to
Yes.
the
That's literally
That's the running
Through
theme.
their excavations, Hyperion uncovered evidence of an even greater
And he's like, wait a
vault.
minute, has Borderlands been
They'll
based
be
this whole
about
time?
to find
Yep.
it.
It
Oh,
literally
no, we're
has
not there
been-
yet.
Power to
Anybody can say
civilize
fuck
the
corporations.
borderlands once and for all. But Hyperion weren't the only ones searching for the next vault's alien power.
Am I gonna show up in
The
this
call
cutscene? I'm
of
crying.
danger and loot is not so easily
No.
resisted. Certain warriors came to Pandora in droves to uncover its hidden secrets.
I want to play the girl with the.
Some
I want to play the girl with the short hair and the
adventurers.
sword. Where is she?
Others
That's what I
call
was
them
gonna say.
fools. But I
Oh, there she is. It's
call
just
them
Zero.
Vault hunters.
That's my headcanon now.
Our story begins with them.
I mean,
And with a
most
man
people headcanon Zero is non-binary anyway, so.
They transitioned into Zero.
Days non-binary.
Days non-binary.
That's so cool. This isn't 2D anymore. Turn it off. Why am I losing frames constantly? Does the game just fucking look like this?
It's a little choppy. at this
Yeah,
part.
Okay.
The video does, yeah, because they force the post-processing on it.
I was gonna
As a
say,
bug.
because like,
Yeah,
I was in the
don't worry,
menu,
it will
like,
not
I'm
be
gonna
this,
lose my mind.
it will not be this bad in game.
Okay. Because goddamn.
Oh, I love this. I love this little scene. Bap. This guy. So they're crazy.
He's ghost riding the whip.
Is that what that is?
Yep. Then there's a train. I'm awake. Bonk.
Damn. Should have hit the fucking reaction command. Idiot.
True.
Imbecile.
Mm-hmm.
Borderlands Tuesday.
That is indeed what we're here for.
Winks at
Early
chat.
title card.
I guess we're at the Borderlands 2 title drop again.
To your doom. Nothing personal.
Fun fact: the guy who looks like a fuckboy on the screen right now, he's bisexual.
Yep.
I got gay people in this? Shit.
Oh yeah. Gay people, trans people, it's everything.
They got everything in it.
Yeah, that's true. And there's mm-hmm. Maya.
Got neo
Here's your
pronouns in the
character.
DLC.
Here's your character.
Wait, that's
Salvador.
mine? Ew!
Yep.
I don't want to be him. Ew! Ew, he's big and manly. Ew! Ew! Ah!
Small. He's a short king.
If I
Yes.
saw him in Walmart, I'd be fucking terrified.
That's the point.
What do you mean that's the
I'm fine.
point? I didn't look at the characters, like what they look like before doing this.
I mean, we still have time. You can go be the fuckboy instead if you want.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
no better. Whatever. I'll play as fucking Hat Hod. Whatever.
Look at him. He's a short king.
All right, you're selling me on him a little bit. Shit. I forgot about this part of this the cutscene.
Y'all think you're the heroes of this little adventure, but you're not. Welcome to Pandora, kiddos.
Yeah, because in the looping part, if you don't select the menu, it cuts as they kick the door down, so you don't actually see the plot.
Yeah.
So here you can actually pick.
Okay, so my choices are Axton and Salvador.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
with
I would
Salvador
not
then.
suggest playing Krieg.
No.
No, do not. You do not want to. Which?
Oh, I have funny little heads to pick.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
I forgot how many you start with. I have a few unlocked already.
I probably have all of them.
Yeah, you probably do. Oh yeah, colors. No. Azure Knight for now.
Oh, I thought there were more than that. Okay.
There's so many colors. Oh my gosh.
Yep. There's a lot to start with.
They have random rings colors, kind of.
Cool. There you go.
Go.
Apparently you have a time limit too, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Shit.
You're fine. Don't worry about it. I love how there's ones that are clearly based on like the TMNT or Battletoads and whatnot.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Name. We can probably put our actual name in. Actually, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
That's more just for like your own like
Yeah, that's
record
fair.
keeping.
Mhm.
No, I'm Salvador now. We've committed to this.
We are committed to the bit. We are bit committed.
Admitted. Everyone's
So-
favorite character.
This first part's gonna be a little harsh too.
They got Rika in this?
Busy. Wait a minute. You're not dead. Yes! Now I can get off this glacier. Claptrap, your metaphorical ship has finally come in. Allow me to introduce myself. I am a
can move.
CL4P steward bot, but my friends call me Claptrap. Or they would if any of them were still alive, or had existed in the first place.
Yo, Marcus, let's
I've
go.
got something for you. Here, take this echo communicator that I totally didn't loot from one of these corpses. It comes with a Class 12 heads-up display, complete with a mini-map. Now, come.
Wait, why is Agent at
I'll
full
get you
health?
inside.
It does that sometimes.
Some fucking epic.
Great.
I have 101 golden keys. Okay.
I have
I have
158.
I have 80. Alright, okay. I know I unlocked the Premier Club stuff. Let me
Yes,
fucking
I know. Yes.
Okay,
wanna get my
Google, how
clips.
to play a first-person shooter. All right, the crouch is toggle, so that's all I care about. We're good. Dude, it's Cortana.
I do already have it.
Uh-huh.
That's her.
I already have it. Yeah, I already have it, of course.
I didn't start with a
good.
shotgun instead.
I'm gonna switch it off. Wait!
Well done.
I'm coming.
Your ability to walk short distances without dying will be Handsome Jack's downfall.
I keep forgetting there's no, Oh, that's gonna throw me off still. There's no sliding in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And open.
Thank you, Claptrap.
Just a little added security. Gotta keep those.
So
bull
3
balls
had
at
sliding?
bay, or they'll rip your eyes out.
And mantling.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see anything about 3 because I didn't care.
Oh, it's
Yeah, I
also the
remember
fact
all
that
those.
all the other,
Sorry about the mask. Everything Jack kills, he does
all the
here.
other, like,
Bandits,
FPS
all
games that I
hunters,
play.
claptrap units.
Yeah.
Myself, please
Oh, okay,
don't
we're gonna
use it.
discover
Only
all of them.
because my
Okay,
programmers
got
made
it.
this my default tone of voice. I'm actually quite depressed. Now, the creatures around
Do we
here
not
are dangerous.
share
There's
ammo in this
one
game?
This bullymong named Knuckletrack.
Like ammo
He
drops?
kills everyone I know.
I thought we did.
Anywho, I keep a
Don't think
pistol in
so.
the cabinet over there for
Oh,
emergency.
okay.
But in here, we should be pretty safe.
healing stuff?
I'm sure I'll be fine then.
My eye!
Well, bye, Marcos.
Just wait until we actually...
The gun in the cabinet.
I've already forgotten where the... Oh, it's all the way over there. Right.
Once upon a time,
Damn.
4 Vault Hunters changed Pandora forever. But their time has passed.
Do we all get that guy?
Jack, Pandora needs
Um.
a hero. I know that hero is you.
Apart from the excruciating pain, this is great! I've been waiting for a mighty Vault Hunter to help me reach Sanctuary. I will be your wise
I think we
all
share
share money, but not.
not ammo.
That's weird.
Eh. Well, remember this game is all like 10 years old at this point.
Yes.
So everything we're used to in games in the past 10 years, not there anymore.
I only play platformers. I have no idea what's happening. I picked up some gun.
Just let me get this door open and we'll hunt ourselves a bullymong.
Oh yes, we absolutely have to do the Bullymon quest from
Onward, seeing eye minion. Let me know if I'm gonna run into anything.
Sir Hammerlock.
I'll just assume you didn't see that.
Whee!
Even though Knuckle Dragger blindsided me, I know my way around this glacier.
Hi, Rue. How are you?
Frostbite crevasse.
Meow. Hello, hello.
I'm playing Borderlands with my friends.
I don't have the chat thing open because I'm afraid if I like alt tab out the get it, it's gonna fucking crash.
That's fair. Don't worry about it.
I'm just using Cat Guard because there's only 4 people.
I'm using nothing. I don't want to hear about anything that's not in my chat.
I'm using tilt controls.
My followers.
Oh my
Second minion, put
I like how like people still laugh when I make that joke. It never gets old.
I like how there are people still laughing to this day.
Yeah, right? Imagine.
Straight up Joker
Hi.
shit.
Let's go. If we don't get my eye back, we'll never get to Sanctuary.
We gotta
Gun
get
has
Marcus's
25
eye back.
bullets per clip. That's too much.
Which one does?
The gun that I'm using.
Mine
Executive producer Dick Wolf.
Yes, indeed.
Hi, Kimmy.
It just stops
Hi,
everything.
Kimmy.
Again? Jack's tearing Pandora apart to find the vault. They say Jack's drilling operations are causing those earthquakes. That, or your mom just got out.
I really gotta stop. I'm so like muscle memory.
I love these.
You'll need that funny little robot's help to reach Sanctuary. The
That
last
funny little
bastion of
robot.
resistance against Jack.
Yeah.
And the only place you'll be truly safe. Get to Sanctuary.
We have this here so we don't backtrack.
Backtrack with Claptrap.
No.
Whoa, oh, I thought somebody just shot.
No. No.
Your tilt controls and raise you, Dick Wolf. You think,
No.
you think
Oh,
Dick Wolf uses tilt controls?
yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry,
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
We have to use his full legal name. Executive producer Dick Wolf.
I
I
think executive producer
definitely-
Dick Wolf uses tilt controls.
I definitely just hit R as if it was gonna do anything.
President of Hyperion. Let me explain how things work here.
Well,
I just hit
Focus will
R2.
help there.
Vault Hunter looks for the
Oh.
vault. Vault Hunter gets
Never mind,
it
this Ducky's got more.
behind me. You see in the
Oh.
process,
Amino.
you're still alive. So if you could just do me a favor and off yourself, that'd be great.
Wow.
I love,
Pumpkin.
I
right?
love Borderlands.
Oh, trust me, there's the acting for.
Switch back on. I see a tough-looking minion and an incredibly handsome robot, which means that whoever has the eye is very close.
Ah, yes.
Knuckled Ragger.
Time for
Even
one of
her?
the best claptrap lines.
Oh yeah.
Oh, R is reload.
Not for me.
Damn.
Okay, here we go.
I unbound it. All right. Yeah.
Here it is. Here it comes.
Coming out of the wall, Sphincter.
I'll just take him out. Maybe. Got him.
Level up.
Level up. I killed one.
Retreat, got my
Taking this for a while.
great.
Okay.
We just gotta find someone to put it back into.
It's a Jacobs, so
Yeah.
Sure.
Jacobs are really good for Gauge because
Higher damage.
Higher damage, and also they're semi-automatic, so they just attack as fast as you can pull the trigger.
Yep. Even things like snipers and shotguns. Well, actually, I don't know about the snipers. No, snipers do have a reload.
Ideally, I'm gonna be using Jacob's shotguns. That's like the best thing you can get for gauge.
Also, I decided I didn't want that one. I want this one.
I don't know Jacob well enough yet.
I hear getting eaten alive by bullybogs isn't such a bad way to go.
Let me get that for you.
Thanks, Cortana.
I love how my thing says contraband skyrocket. Warning: not intended for indoor use.
Artificial intelligence.
Damn.
I'm networked into almost everything on this planet.
Straight up go freaky with that
It's
indoors.
a long way to sanctuary. Please take whatever you need for the journey ahead.
Okay.
Anything good here? Nope. Go ahead.
Is there a shotgun? There's a shotgun.
It's a shotgun. Take a shotgun. Enjoy your shotgun. Are you good?
I have a
Okay,
gun.
so I definitely just grabbed like shotgun ammo when I had full ammo. So I think it did give it to other people.
I think what it does is it gives it to you first, and if you are full, then it gives it to other people.
Oh, okay.
I also have Jacob.
Yes.
I didn't know the mouse wheel did that shit.
Take all the things, yeah. True understanding.
Alright.
I'm glad somebody does. Let's go to Southern Shelf.
The southern... Thank you, Claptrap.
Marcus, everybody.
Oh, that was a fast load.
Oh, that was a fast load. I was trying to use some gummy worm shit.
Yeah.
This is why I don't like Claptrap. I'm always trying to eat gummy worms and he's interrupting me.
Games like dodge the blowtorch and don't get dunked into the pool of acid. I was really good at the first one.
Attention,
Also, I believe there is no fall damage in this game.
Nope.
I reckon I'm gonna find out.
The head of the Vault Hunter who just arrived in Liarsburg. Oh, and I'm still offering a reward for Roland, the mass murdering leader of the Crimson Raiders. Good hunting, bandits.
I forgot that you don't like actually get your skills until like level 5.
Yep.
I got to the first like little boss and then I don't think I played it anymore. So like we're getting to the point where it's completely new territory for me.
Spectacular. First Captain Flint's bandits
I did not realize you could jump over that fence.
Yeah. Sequence breaking. Aren't.
Oh, is that what it's? Oh, I thought we were just supposed to do that.
I mean,
I mean, it's not.
it's barely a sequence break.
Yeah, no, not really.
It's a slight dialogue skip.
Yeah.
Not even that, because the dialogue still happens.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It just lets us get to killing sooner, which is always good.
Yeah.
I'm getting shredded.
Hey, you, die.
Oh, that's Claptrap. I still can't kill Claptrap, despite how much I'm gonna try.
Trust me. That's most people's reaction. It's like, despite my best efforts, I still could not kill Claptrap.
Yes, I suppose I am in your debt now, aren't I? Come to my shack and I shall restore Claptrap's sight. First, I shall shut off the electrical fence for you.
Speaking of gay character.
Please stay back, Vault Hunter.
Oh, yes.
Claptrap go first.
Gay character voiced by a gay man.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
2 bullets in a bag. 2
Apologies, but when Claptrap speaks, I feel my brain cells committing suicide one by one.
Wow.
I shall be out directly.
I mean, he's
Should I
not
start
wrong.
a suicide joke counter on my fucking stream?
A pleasure to meet you, Volta.
I mean, the first one wasn't a joke. It was the bad guy telling you to kill yourself.
Yeah.
At your service.
See, never mind. I'm not. I promised that I wouldn't be that big of a cunt on the first stream of this. So I'm not gonna go there. I'm just gonna take it in. Open my little stinky little mind.
You have fun doing the plot. I'm gonna go loot.
Yeah.
I love the plot.
I mean, there isn't that much in the way of plot yet. It's literally all just introduction.
I do have money for guns, is the thing. Oh wait, I don't have the level for it. Never mind, we're good.
This makes me feel like a rat.
Julia, this does make me feel like a rat. How you doing?
Julia's here. Why are you bald?
I said Breaking Bald, and I've been watching Breaking Bad again recently because I have mental issues.
I forgot that this game was
Actually,
In Borderlands, that would be a joke, chat.
To be fair,
What'd you say?
that head actually looks a little less ugly than his usual one, so...
That's true, yeah.
Thank you. How am I doing? I'm playing Borderlands 2.
I mean, there's just something... There's just something about, like bald with a beard that just makes anyone look better.
We should try that. We should put that on our PNG tuber.
Okay,
Every time we stream this.
Yeah, that's fair. We could.
I mean,
totally
you could make like variants of our ring sodas that look like the characters we're playing.
I kind of want to.
I mean,
That sounds like a lot of work for a bit, but I'm not going to stop you.
Well, it's
Yeah,
not
no.
a bit if she uses them for every stream.
I mean, you all saw Cat Quest. I've done weirder shit for one stream.
Still haven't.
That was like 2 or 3.
Cat Quest? That was one.
No, you used them again, didn't you?
No,
Use Kimmy's one again.
Yes.
And then
that was an
deny
accident
that.
though, and she just told me don't get rid of it. So I was like, okay. So technically 2.
Captain Flintsman killed anyone who stared.
Kimmy isn't getting away from those cat girl allegations.
Which is crazy because we're not kitty girls. It's like obvious.
True.
so no, totally not.
You're not cats. You're not kitty cats. You don't nya nya nya.
Oh, and
It's
meow, meow, meow.
perfectly lunacy.
That's J if you want to hit just a single button. Not J. K?
My badass rank is 24. What does that do
L?
for me? Anything?
L.
Oh, I don't have a shield. What the
Oh,
fuck?
L.
Oh, okay. It's L to get the thing. Okay.
Gotta take
What
that
is
L.
this?
Alright, so we have a... Yep. Optional quest to kill bullymongs down here. Which Duckie is already in the process of doing.
Okay, so I'll just follow you then?
Oh. Oh, fine. Oh, look, brats.
Duckie, that's Duckie.
Excuse you.
What? Did you look at a brat bullymong and said that's Duckie?
No. I saw you. That's you.
Oh, okay.
That's you.
And then we gotta go across the bridge to kill him
Aiden,
there.
you're looking at a brat bullymong. Why are you saying it's me?
That's you.
Oh my gosh.
That's bull.
Gosh damn. Waffle ain't waiting for anyone.
Nope.
Waffle's got places to
understandable.
be.
Understandable. These are the annoying quests. So
Okay.
God, I can't
Like
wait
I
till we
said,
get to
this is
level
like right
6.
before I quit, so like, I'm excited to see the rest of it. Like actually, let's see what's up after, you know, I stopped. Oh, that thing's dead already.
damn.
Bullymongs will think twice about raiding peaceful cities in the future. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully.
I love Hammerlock.
love-
His whole storyline in 3 was like one of the highlights.
Yeah, I need to finish playing through 3.
I do not remember a single thing about Borderlands 3. And I finished it.
Damn.
He's in a committed, loving relationship with another older gentleman.
That's cool.
Like
I guess.
I tried to remember the characters and could only come up with 3 of them.
I mean, I think he mentions
Claptrap.
I think he mentions his boyfriend in this game.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Is it in DLC or is it in the base game? It's in the base game.
It's in the base game because
It's in the
he
base game, and then they had.
It's just a mention in the base game. Oh, I'm pulling it.
For 3?
Oh.
In
Wait.
3, there's like an entire plot line with.
Oh yeah, in 3. No, in 2 he mentions it in base game, but he doesn't like.
You have too many bullets, but not enough money.
We don't.
To survive out here for any
I just got
length of
both of
time,
them.
you'll need a better
Yeah,
shield.
sounds good.
I have
So shield is out in the way.
You'll need to take the elevator up
Bad hair day. Oh, bad hair day's off in the other direction though.
No, we can go in the same direction. We just have to find Bullymong.
That's fair. We gotta melee them. That's the key.
What's the
Yeah.
melee button?
V is default.
I changed mine to Q.
I changed mine to. Well, I kept it V, but I set one of my mouse buttons to be V.
V for melee.
V for violence.
V for voint.
Excuse me?
Yeah, because usually you go out
Because
to
we're
that.
getting voint.
You know, this place seems smaller than when I last played.
Because you've grown up.
Oh, fair.
You're bigger now.
You're dead.
Hi, Urza.
I have
One
torch
of them-
up, but what?
No, good.
I have torch up, but I didn't have it up when I relaunched the game because it crashed, and I'm afraid if I alt tab over to
Hi.
it, it will crash again. So
Yes.
torch seems to work.
Hi, Urza.
We'll
Looking for
see.
me.
It works for
Urza
everybody else.
MTG. I'm not
Very-
using it.
It's very funny. Yeah, it's very funny to see this in Torch. Hi.
Hit him with that money back guarantee.
There's the exact same thing in each one of our chats, and it just looks like he's talking to himself.
Look at all these friends. Look at all these friends. Have you looked at all these friends?
These friends. Look at them.
Actually, I guess we can just do the shield one first.
Yeah, I mean, this is where it is.
Yeah.
We just gotta get to where's the button? Oh, here it is. Oh, we need the fuse.
I forgot. The safe house power box stopped working.
Hammerlock.
Excuse me. That's Sir Hammerlock.
Sir Hammerlock.
And ignore what he said about that power box.
No, he literally. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, damn it!
We have to go over here to get the fuse. Anyways.
Yeah, I know.
There's
We
also-
might as well kill the people on the way.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, we're playing Borderlands too.
Great. They're starting to have shields now.
We're playing Borderlands Tuesday.
Borderlands
Yep.
Tuesday, innit?
What did Waffle? What did you name your stream?
Just Borderlands playthrough.
Oh, come on!
I wasn't here for that conversation.
There's a fuse on the other side of that electric fence. Just run through the fence. You won't take damage if you go fast enough.
Oh, is that true? I don't believe him.
No, do not believe his lies.
There's Bullymugs over here, so we're gonna have to be careful about this because we have to melee them to kill them.
Oh,
Do I want that one? No. I'll take the Jacobs revolver though.
Alright.
I apologize, I wasn't clear enough. You see,
Damn
you
it.
need to kill the Bullymong with a melee attack in order to harvest its fur.
oh,
Steal the fur from
Yeah.
the Bullymong's dead body.
okay.
So you gotta do a.
Oh, there's a
the bad-
badass.
Oh
Uh-oh.
fuck! Oh, I'm almost dead. Yeah.
I'm also around. Oh, I'm also almost dead. Very cool.
Alright, you guys
Hey,
distract him
yo.
while I. You guys distract him while I do the quest.
Oh, I'm doing it. I guess I can't really melee if I'm
Oh, jeez.
this.
Bullymong is injured. Now deliver the coup de grace with your melee weapon.
The coup de grace. Oh, I'm dead. Alright.
Yeah, we should not be killing this thing, by the way.
No, it's fine. We got this.
Guess I wasn't the breaking ball after all.
Ah.
I'm dying. Oh, I'm dead.
I'm here. In a manner of speaking.
Look at all the murder, including my own.
Murder. Can I
Wait
snipe
on.
him?
Weaken that Bullymong. Now give it
Okay.
a mighty blow with your melee weapon and
I got my own second wind.
See, like, I don't... Never mind.
You know what?
I just don't. I'm trying to figure out when this is a good time to melee.
The badass?
Didn't worry about it with the badass.
Oh.
I still got it. Too late. Got it.
Collecting bowling long fur? I love that stuff. It's soft, warm, and really good at absorbing robot tears.
That's it for here.
Why don't you bring it to
Yeah.
me instead of Hammerlock?
I guess we'll do puzzle finish this quest.
Might as well.
There's more bullybongs that way, but we're gonna have to go that way eventually. Anyway, so.
Yep.
Okay.
Also,
I shall give you one of my finest sniper rifles.
There's like a enemy here that's just like, oh, there he
I
is.
just noticed that. I just noticed that too. I'm like, wait a minute. There's a red dot. Is he up top? Oh, he's up top. Was.
Yeah, I got him.
He's up. He is up top. No, was.
He was a
I
top.
hope you enjoy me doing all of this like precision aiming because it's not gonna last.
Yeah, mine will last, but that's because sniper.
I'm playing Borderlands.
All the murder, yes, all of the murder.
Got the elevator working, have you? Great. Now simply ascend to the safe house and buy a shield. This used to be a sizable hub for the resistance until everyone.
I'm gonna turn on the gosh dang light.
Hang
on.
Okay. Yes, you do. So at least one of us has to buy a shield.
I mean, I'll probably find a better shield.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm back. Whoa.
I bought a good one.
See about getting you off this frigid glacier.
Alright, we gotta see about getting out this frigid glacier.
I like having good shields because I'm usually like up in the fray.
Yeah.
With my shotgun.
Isn't there a vault symbol here?
Is there? I mean, there's a vault symbol right there.
That's what I meant. Yeah. No, like. Thought there was one like right out here or something.
Yeah, I thought there was something out here.
You know, I've been playing this game for like 150 hours. I did not. This is my first time I've noticed that this ladder exists.
Sweet.
Oh, the one inside. The one inside to go up to the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which doesn't actually work for us because we can't climb it. In order to get up there, we got to go out and around. Here. To here.
Oh.
And then we can be up here.
Oh.
Parkour.
Parkour!
If this is Borderlands 3, you could just jump from like
Yeah, I
here
know.
and then grab this.
Oh look, a better shield. There it is. Yep, here it is.
Oh.
I was right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was right. By the way,
Right, indeed.
that is simply
see-
for achievement points. You don't need
Yeah.
to do that.
But you can anyways.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yay!
I have 21 badass tokens.
I have none because I've been already using them. I have 6646 badass rank. I could disable my bonus stats so I'm not destroying everything instantly. But where's the fun in that?
Yeah, I'm at 11,284.
Yeah,
24.
I'm at 6646 badass rank, so I'm pretty good there.
I'm at 21,673.
So I need sniping. Yep. Headshot increased damage.
Should I increase my gun accuracy through my badass rank?
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I forgot this was like the whole thing with this game. I should probably like do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I don't have any skill points anyway. We're good.
Yep, not until level 5, and I level... Is it 5 or is it 10 in this game?
5.
It is
Well,
5?
6,
Okay.
I remember doing it, so it has to be 5.
Oh, okay, then yeah. And because your first skill point has to be in your ability.
Yes.
Okay.
The customization starts at 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so once we get to level 6, I will not be hitting things as much.
No, you still... I guess you take Anarchy first. I would take Close Enough first.
Give me mouse. Can my mouse
I take
please?
Anarchy first, and then I just use shotguns, because, you know, I do quantity over quality.
Okay,
Sure.
where did that Jacobs, there it is. Jacobs pistol instead of this Holy secondary. Is this one that goes? Yes. Okay. Yeah. But of course, my main thing is going to be that.
Oh, good gun.
Duckie.
Fine, don't worry about it.
Who yelled jackholes in my PG-13 stream?
Jackholes.
Wow.
Do not.
Why? It's funny.
That's why.
Ah.
But yeah, I guess that is kind of funny. You're right.
I touched it because I thought it was like a quest thing, and I was like, I'm helping, and then I punched the fuck out of an explosive tank labeled explosive tank.
Yep.
Speaking of quests.
Train that runs through the dust. If all goes well, we should get to Sanctuary in a day's time. Hyperion hasn't diverted any troops from New Haven to pursue us, and a sandstorm has devoured their nearest frontier town.
What's after me?
We just need... Oh, damn it! Everyone, get away from the windows!
You've discovered one of Helena Pierce's audio logs. She was a lieutenant in the Crimson Raiders, the anti-Hyperion resistance. I'd be very
Why does
interested
this
to know
not
what
seem
became of
that
them. If you could find the rest of
tall?
those audio logs, I would be more than happy to pay you for them.
I don't know. It's just the. It doesn't seem like the gate is high enough for us to just pass through by walking.
I mean, you're also like 8 feet tall.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Jack
Wow.
here.
What is
Fuck
the
you,
meaning
Wilhelm.
of this?
I'm sorry. What was your name?
Pierce.
Well, Miss Pierce, and please don't tell me it's Mrs. Pierce and break my heart. This train doesn't belong to you, so why don't you turn around and face me, Pumpkin?
This train was commandeered legally under the...
Holy nutballs! What happened to your freaking face?
It's over there. You got it?
I haven't played
You
this
got it,
game too much. What are you talking about?
Lady, I don't even know what to call you. You tell me why you look like you headbutted a belt sander, and I'll let all you go right now.
My husband gave me a skag pearl ring. The pearl released hunger-inducing pheromones.
Oh, you know what? I am so sorry. I just, forgive me. Where's your husband now?
He's dead.
That is a heartbreaker. But you got something in common with him now, at least. Oh, holy crap! Did you see your head? It was like, oh my God! Wilhelm, killing savages. Understood.
Yeah.
Handsome Jack killed her, did he?
Shame. A real shame. Please return the echoes to me whenever you are capable of doing so.
So yeah, this game does take itself seriously enough.
Yeah.
Protection from bullets, ho!
Money.
Yes, this
Would you
one.
like to do battle with a midget riding piggyback on a bullet?
Whoa, okay.
The answer is yes. Please proceed to the southern...
I love Borderlands.
Yeah, yeah. Get used to that.
Get used
Okay.
to that.
Yup.
They stopped using the term in 3.
Oh, good. So for the rest of the game,
The entire game.
Yep. That's just what they're called.
Like, we didn't say the game aged well in some aspects.
What the hell are you? Why do you retreat? Face your end honorably. Make me work for it. Who sent you? His sister? His kids? Whatever they're offering, I'll quintuple it. This is punishment. His murder will be avenged.
Yo, Shaggy?
Will be paid. For God's sake, what do you want? Just tell me what you want.
That's Shaggy? That's Shaggy.
Fight back.
Oh my gosh.
Like you are easy. What the hell are you?
Like, what the hell are you?
I want a challenge.
Daryl wants a challenge.
That's just 0 for you. Hey, look. Pay-per-use telescope.
Yeah.
Out here in the middle of nowhere. $5
Tempting.
gets you use of a fucking telescope.
Tempting. Tempting.
Also, you're going the wrong way.
Are we?
Yeah.
We doing the Bullymong quest?
Yeah, that's where I went. My bad.
Okay.
I thought we were reaching Blackburn Cove.
No, we're gonna do the other thing. I'm sorry, that was my bad.
There are more Bullymongs on the way, so
I know.
I think 2 more pieces of fur.
Is it? Let me see. Yep. We have 2 out of 4.
Chat, you all having fun? We're playing Borderlands.
I'm having fun.
I'm having a lot of fun.
I'm playing Borderlands.
Are they respawned yet? No. Good. Whee! Yo. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the fast load.
Everyone's new favorite Random Rings Channel segment. Professional tennis player or first-person shooter sound effect.
That's I hate how accurate that is. I missed. There we go.
So we don't have to melee these.
No, we do.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we do. These are the Bullymong. They are
At least they're
Bullymongs.
adult Bullymongs. I don't want to harvest any kid ones. We don't need bully veal. Oh. V, the other button. Yeah, baby. Oh, I should probably revive. Hello.
It's okay.
I'm reviving you. Augie. Oh, that's
man.
a rock.
Do we want the sniper rifle? I mean, I know what I want.
But I want the sniper, but that's me. But I'm not gonna deny all of you a shotgun just because I want a sniper rifle.
I want to save Duckie, but I can't. Yeah.
Oh, someone. Okay.
Less time, more shooting.
I see your model from afar sometimes, and I think it's Tolly from Mass Effect when I get excited.
Oh, Zero? Yeah.
No, yours. Well, either actually.
Oh, okay.
Just
I look nothing like what?
I don't know. Yup. I don't know.
I'm
Don't worry
wearing
about
a
me.
newsboy cap.
From afar is the color. That's literally it, I think.
I'm evil. Look at me.
I'm evil. I don't look
Evil.
like Tolly. I'm evil.
I'm wearing red. That's how you know I'm.
Fuck all y'all.
Oh, wait.
That's a box.
The box machina.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
why?
a Critical Role joke, everyone.
Everybody. That's a critical
Also,
joke.
if there's a lot of items in the vicinity, just hold E and you'll auto collect them all.
You hold what?
Hold E. Whatever your interact with button is. But yes, hold
It's
E.
E.
Oh, don't you fucking. Oh, good. Oh, they're just called that. Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
why
I
it's
hate
gonna
this
keep
a
coming up.
lot. Sorry, chat. I wasn't warned. I did not know that.
I thought you knew.
You should. I'm playing Borderlands.
Yeah. It's fun.
It's fun. I'm playing Borderlands.
I mean, it is fun, but it's also a game from the early 2010s.
Yeah.
I'm not going there. I'm playing Borderlands.
Oh, sheesh. That was pretty intense.
It's a killer marauder. Oh, that gas tank's gonna. Yep, there we go.
There it goes.
There it goes.
Oh, so you can find weapons in the toilets?
Yep.
Ew.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful. Most of them are shit.
Hey.
Oh, fuck you.
Did you just have something thrown? Oh, I thought they were throwing something good at you. I thought somebody just like action movie your ass. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I would do that shit.
They're throwing buzzsaws at me. Nothing fancy. Except it is kind of fancy, which is the funny part.
Except if you think about it. It's pretty funny. It's pretty fancy. New favorite gun, holy fucking shirt.
Right.
Just wait until we level up, then you'll be able to use 2 of them at once.
Nonsense.
Only
Is this some kind of RPG?
It has role-playing game elements.
Like slurs.
Yeah.
That's a slumping ass body.
Oh.
Why am I not? I'm like okay. Well, I was gonna come help you, but I'm fucking glitching my ass off into the side of this building like no other. Now I'm here.
Ding,
one person
level
leveled
up.
Ding.
I keep
We're
turning
all
around
awesome.
like, what's killing me? What the fuck is happening?
There we go.
I like am
excuse me.
trapped. Clap trapped even.
Are you?
Oh, there we go.
No, it's J. No. Okay, give me my. I've already forgotten what it is. Is it?
It's F for me.
No. I know what it is. I'm just trying to remember which. Wait, did I literally not put my ultimate on the side button? Really?
Ow. Got one of them fancy doodads.
Yeah, I do. Sorry. Key bindings.
Hey, Death Trap, go do something.
Activate skill F. I did not put F on one of my buttons. What the fuck is wrong with me? Well, to be fair, it's actually fine because it's not something you press a lot, so.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's what my character said too.
I'm here.
You are! Wow! That's crazy. Thanks, Waffle. I got such a second wind now.
Why? Okay. Well.
Where are all the people at? I hear gunfire. I used to be kind of good at some shooters, I swear.
To be fair, the difficulty when you're playing with 4 people is pretty ramped up, so.
Oh, okay. I feel slightly less bad now.
Stop shooting my friends.
Please stop.
Die!
Please
Damn
stop
it.
shooting my friends. I really appreciate it.
Got a assault rifle here.
That's pretty cool.
Oh!
I mean,
Bless you. That sounds violent.
It was a little violent. I think I tweaked a muscle on my neck. It's okay.
Oof. Please do not. Ow.
I'm gonna try to alt tab, see what happens. I'm gonna see if I crash the game or not. Here we go. Ready? I'm doing it.
Watching you.
Doing it. Doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it now.
Watching them. Watching them. They're still there. For now. Holy shit.
Okay.
I'm actually like wicked tall.
It
Okay,
freaked the
good?
fuck out. It's still kind of freaking out. There we go. We're good.
Okay.
You're not tall. Salvador's just short.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
Wow.
I'm taller than both Salvador and Gage.
I mean, yeah, but I'm like 18.
Yes.
That's fair.
Ooh, shields.
Ooh, shields. Ooh, yes.
I'm had hot age, baby. That's all you need to know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm this tall to ride. You know what I'm saying?
No,
The
what are
hat
you
is
saying?
knotted.
I'm
No.
saying.
I don't understand.
Could you explain further?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, right.
Ah, yes.
What's here? What is?
I saved my.
God.
ability for this, and you can't use it on this one.
Use your ability.
What? Oh my god, I'm being raided! I have guns!
That's like
Tony
crazy
Hawk's
getting
Pro
raided.
Skate Borderlands.
Oh
Hi,
shit.
Jeff. We're shooting the M slur.
Also, Urza, Twerch stopped working for me.
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Yep.
Last thing on mine is in Duckie's chat, and it says all the murder.
Yep.
Same.
Oh, so that's not up to date.
Yeah, well,
Let me refresh it. I'm gonna refresh it, see if it fixes stuff.
Waffle, stop running away, I'm dying!
I'm dying too, I think.
I'm hitting E, what the fuck?
I'm lagging out.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there we go.
Wait,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, I guess it was
That
just
Web
freaking
said
out.
something in Duckie's chat.
So maybe the like, because that was a subscription. Yeah, it was a
it's
resub
just a sub.
message.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that stuff
which,
doesn't
thank
come
you
out.
very much for the 22 months of subscribing.
Creepers.
Subscribers, the epic random subscribers.
I wish this game had a ping, but it doesn't because they didn't think about that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
How are you today, Wef? And also,
Oh, we're not gonna go in here.
Welcome to the Raiders.
Fuck. Guess I'll run then. Bye. Shit.
Where are you going? What's happening?
Diesel's got a gun too.
Oh, I was gonna
Diesel
finish.
does
I
have
was
a
gonna finish clearing out that room, but y'all left me. I didn't realize until I.
Oh, did you die?
No, I'm here.
I've been right here the whole time.
Where's?
Some one-hit KO practice and played like garbage, and then played decently.
Hell yeah.
That sounds
But
pretty
also,
cool.
Well,
for
yeah.
the Raiders
Ducky.
who are coming in that don't know who I am Duckie 2010. I play randomizers on Mondays and Fridays, but I've recently started doing collabs, and today is one of the collab days. So if everyone else wants to say hello.
Meow. I'm playing Borderlands.
They're
Yeah.
very happy about it too.
Yes.
I'm playing Borderlands.
Oh, that's not what I meant to do. It's okay. Good thing it's on a low cooldown.
I'm glad too, because that shit fucking fooled me. I'm so thrilled, Julia. I got root beer. That makes me happy.
Beer.
I haven't had root beer in a while. My friend gave me a 2-liter root beer.
Ooh. It's so weird to me that you get like you still measure pop in metric when you
But
don't.
nothing
Like,
else?
you refuse. Yeah, you refuse
I
to
know.
use metric for anything else. But it's like no, pops are 2 liters.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb.
That's a lie. People know how to use grams.
Okay.
That's
the
bold.
general populace.
I mean, a lot of people are part of that general populace now.
That's fair. Waffle.
You okay there?
Wow!
They made it! They made it! It's okay!
Oh, okay.
I took like 5 damage. It's fine.
Okay.
Waffle's just like, I got places to be.
Y'all too fucking slow.
Crit hit. Crit.
I don't bully bowl.
We don't melee these bully ones, so.
Yeah, we don't, thankfully.
Nice
What's the
refreshing
difference?
Sub-Zero. Well, because we finished the quest.
Oh, okay. Oh god, no. Get the fuck away from me, you bitch. Stop existing.
Thank you.
Does it say Bullymong Singer?
Slinger.
Oh, I thought it said
'Cause they
Singer. I was
sling
real
things.
excited. I was so excited. Thanks for
What is
saving me,
that?
Virtue.
That wasn't
That
me
was
that
me.
saved you.
I didn't look. I don't.
That was Ducky.
You're playing.
You're all just silhouettes to me. You all look like Tolly to me. I have no idea.
That's valid.
Are we shooting the pterodactyls now? Why?
Yeah, the racks. We gotta kill the racks
They're,
for their...
they're swooping us.
They're swooping us, yep.
I don't like the fact that these are called Rex.
Why? They're flying rats.
Yeah.
Then why are they called that?
Because they're Rex.
Wow.
Yes, the nice refreshing dip in sub-zero waters.
I'm learning all about this world and this lore.
You're playing Borderlands.
I'm playing.
You're playing Borderlands.
Me? I'm playing Borderlands.
Me? I'm playing Borderlands. Yeah,
Also, I was gonna say
fuck
before
over
the-
here.
I was gonna say like the whole like, you all look like Taladivians, like someone who's only ever played Mass Effect in like before. Is like, wow, all these characters are giving me real Tally vibes.
Damn, this first-person shooter's giving me real Mass Effect vibes.
Yeah, a third-person shooter.
The third-person fucking BioWare RPG with gunplay. I need to stream Mass Effect again. Or, I've never streamed it actually. I need to play it again on stream.
That's good. Borderlands 2 doesn't have Vice Effect. Incorrect.
It does in the pre-sequel.
I know. There's a lot of
And that's
cold damage
coming
there.
next when we finish this game in 2024.
And we're gonna make Aiden play Clap.
I will fucking die.
Oh my fucking god.
In IRL. Bold of you to assume I'm gonna make it through this game. I mean, I'm playing Borderlands.
That's fair.
Yep.
Nice. Second win, what?
Tiny head.
Yeah.
It was Death Trap got me the second win.
Yeah, I love that. It's literally the best having that happen. Ooh,
It's
we
just
want
a
an
fifth party
explosive-
member that.
Yeah, basically, especially if you spec into him and he lasts for like
A bajillion years.
yeah, that's right. Tiny head.
He offered his tiny head. That's
Ew,
the wrong
we're
gun.
dead.
Virtue's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm good. I'm all good.
Just a little bloodthirsty. It's okay.
Oh, I'm
Wait,
dead.
it's
I
not
better
that
reload.
It's not that much damage. Stop yelling.
Okay.
Ouch.
Oh, hold on. Leveled up. Now the fun begins.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I gotta figure out what I'm doing.
Oh,
for
can we?
Oh, I know. Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, we're safe. Okay, good.
No, we're not. I'm being hit. There's a fucking.
Oh fuck! It's asking me to do a thing.
That's just a psycho. Don't worry about it. Sniping. Increase
I want
crit
this
damage.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna be a medic.
Medic.
Sounds good.
What am
I
I
have
gonna
2
do?
stacks of anarchy.
Yee. There we go.
So you pick Brawn, Rampage, or Gunlust, and then you're like, oh wait, no. I can understand now.
It's talent points like WoW has, or had.
Oh, okay.
Had hot.
Had
Like it had on.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I gotta give it this. We've been playing this for like what, an hour? I definitely like this a lot more than World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I mean, not really a high bar, but yeah, or not really. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Virtue and I haven't known each other long enough. I fucking hated World of Warcraft.
Oh, I keep hitting F because.
Like before I knew how shitty Blizzard was, I still fucking despised World of Warcraft.
I've never played it.
Don't
Yeah,
ever.
Don't. If you
Never
must
touch it.
play an MMO, you gotta-
FF14.
14, absolutely, and not even memeing.
If you're gonna
just-
play, if you're gonna pay a corporation to play an MMO, Final Fantasy 14 is the way to go.
Yep.
Terra's
Supreme,
dead now.
hello,
I
Mohas.
think.
Oh, I'm dead. Ooh.
Oh, I got you. I'm up here. I think. Yeah, I'm up here. Check you out. Look at me reviving your ass. Look at it.
I lost my anarchy stacks.
Oh, could
The
you get
anarchy
down?
stacks were inside you all along. Now go.
Man, I wish I had
For
a
your
shotgun.
wife.
What? You just call me
Shotguns
your
are the
wife?
best way. What?
No, this is
Duckie just-
Mohas said in my chat. It's a fight for your wife.
Fight for your wife.
Yeah.
I thought Duckie just spontaneously called me her wife, and I was like, we need to talk about the stream.
Oh, geez, you're going a little faster.
It's just Borderlands. Duckie, calm the fuck down.
So fast that so fast that even Aiden's not ready for it. What?
Richie said that they wish they had a shotgun. Let's go get a shotgun.
We'll get the shotgun. We'll get the shotgun. Yeah, shotguns are the best up against racks just because you just aim in their general direction and they die. They have so little health. They're just so small.
It's realism.
Yeah,
You
Borderlands
use
without
shotguns
borders.
to-
Yeah, it's skeet shooting. Exactly.
Yeah. Not the only kind of skeet shooting I do, huh? Huh? That's a sex joke, everyone.
Oh, it was?
Oh wait, hold on.
So do not turn in bad hair day.
Fuck, I accidentally...
No, you turn it. You
I wanted to turn it into a claptrap, but he's part of the, like...
Let's go this way.
Oh,
No.
God fucking damn it.
Yep.
Can you do it now?
No, he's
moving.
No, he's part of this quest.
I'll turn in the symbiosis one then.
I don't think we can do that until we finish this quest line, actually.
No, there's a... I don't know.
Strange things are happening to me.
Ah, yes.
How's your day been, buddy? We haven't really talked much since I left you for dead. Hey, you think you'll freeze to death out there? No, probably not. Bandits will get your
Duckie!
Right, Dave?
Uh-oh.
Been pretty good. Just bought a pony made of diamonds. Yeah, because I'm rich. So, you know, that's cool. Goodbye.
Where did she go?
Duckie! Wait, she is her,
I love when people
Yeah, no, I think she just crashed entirely.
When people rees?
Someone kicked the router.
Ah.
Is that really what happened?
It happens.
Because I believe that. I'm just
We'll wait by the
wondering-
campfire. We'll talk about Dark
Clash
Souls.
somewhere merciful as choose. Connecting the host. Please wait. Timeout. Okay. Uh-oh.
I'm just burpy as fuck.
Are you?
Oh, there we go.
Are you actually connecting? There we go.
Hey.
I had to restart. Not restart.
Pages Pandora grow stronger.
Yep.
Yes, I would like to play with this character.
Screaming my name. I'm looking at the telescope. Fuck it.
Do it.
Oh my god.
It's so beautiful, isn't it? Was it worth the $5?
It was worth every Borderland send.
Duckie is back.
Every border sent?
Yeah, I was thinking every border sent.
Yeah, I would like to turn it in, but you're being a bitch right now. Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
I thought we all liked Sir Hammer Block.
We love Sir Hammer.
No, I'm talking about Claptrap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus.
Marcus.
Marcus V2. I'm sure that Marcus would absolutely love that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to get confusing when we meet the actual Marcus.
Yep.
No, it's Marcus.
Families. Totally kidding. Screw those guys.
Oh, do not.
Oop. Ooh, I do be lagging a little bit. That's okay.
I was gonna call a piss for brains in honor of you, but that just feels immature. Hey, maybe butt stallion? Nah, that's even worse. I tell you what, I'll give you some more thought.
Butt stallion.
Got you. Oh, whoa. That guy has health.
I'm a wowing every day.
Get woed every day.
I woe all day until I can finally come home and snuggle up
And
next to my
uwu?
hot wives and uwu.
Die.
A woe on the streets, uwu in the sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Dying Squirtle.
Kawaii
Writing
in the
this game
streets,
sure is.
hentai in the
Julia, what could you possibly mean?
Writing this game sure is.
The thing that Julia said reminds me of that one thing where Duckie was like, no offense to Virtue, because we didn't really know you very well when we had the idea of streaming this for the first time. The original idea that Duckie had was me, Waffle, and Satellite. And I told him about it to his face, and he said, well, good luck.
I mean, yeah.
Why did you say like Satellite in like such a like a derisive tone?
Satellite, remember him?
Wow. Thank you for the lurk, win. Yeah.
The Satellite 54.
Never
heard of him.
Satellite 54.
Thank you for the lurk, Jade.
But yeah, like he also had like disdain for this already, like prior. So I was like, do you want to come suffer that with me? Because Duckie seems really passionate about it, and he was like, even if I had a copy, I was like, that's right, you don't even have a fucking copy of it. And he was like, oh, even if I did, no, absolutely not.
Let's
I don't blame you.
But Stallion says hello.
I have to hydrate. I have
Boom!
hydrated.
And it's gonna boom.
That's fine.
Alright.
That's fine.
You don't have to announce it to the world. You can just, you know.
You can just keep that shit there. Oh, that'll be a big thing.
People want to know.
That's not true.
Man, boom is easy. It's boom that's a little tricky.
Yeah.
Sure.
Grenades.
Grenades. I remember this sucking ass alone.
Yeah, this is not fun alone. I mean, even having just 2 people makes this fight so much better.
It's mainly the revive mechanic is just bad in solo.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how it works.
You get a kill while you're down and you come back up.
Oh, that's right.
Which is why playing as Gage is so good, because a death trap can be the one to get the revive.
Full of soup.
I'm at soup.
What do you mean you're at soup?
I mean, I'm at soup. Where are you? Oh, Aiden, do you want the honors?
Yes, do it.
So come over here. Come to Big Bertha.
I don't like this already.
See, normally, if you just start for the first time, this is where you first get
Grenade. So come into
grenade,
How do you get in? You should be able to like get into this, but I can't seem
Oh,
to.
the big turret thing. I don't think doesn't it not trigger until like
you gotta talk to Claptrap first.
Oh right.
Let's go talk to Claptrap, Chad.
Oh, idea! Minion! Get on that
Red.
cannon!
Aiden, get in the cannon.
This gate down, but
What am I doing? Oh, okay. Get in the cannon.
understand? If you shot the gate
Get in the cannon, Shinji.
that could cause serious damage to me.
Hold on.
So don't do that.
Nope,
I'm
not
just
good.
standing here to show you the area you should shoot after I move away.
Better,
Which
Jacob.
I will, once I'm totally convinced you understand the instructions that I'm relaying to you. Do you understand? I know it's kind of complicated, but just stick with me, okay? Look, when it's okay for you to shoot this gate,
Feel free to shoot whenever. By the way.
I'll say something like, shoot.
I was gonna wait until they actually posted, had their own decision of saying, yeah, what's is enough.
I'm playing Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
I feel like you and Sat playing Borderlands could be fun, but now people who like the game in the call.
Oh shit, the badass is back here.
Oh, I can't turn very good.
That's
I'm assuming this doesn't shoot This doesn't kill you. Well, no, you'd be dead by now. If it
No,
did.
we're fine.
Yeah, we'd be fucked.
Yep.
But, you know, that was why I was surprised when Duckie was like, "Oh, Sat and Waffle," and I was like, "I think Waffle likes it," and then I found out they totally fucking do. But I was like, I have been. I feel like every time I talk about it publicly, it's tongue in cheek.
Really?
So I was confused on why she wanted us to do it, but here we are.
It was more of like I wanted to do like a collab series, and Borderlands is just a really good game for that.
The idea was more, let's Sat, Waffle, Duckie, and Aiden do a video game, and the only thing we could think of that all four of us probably had access to was Borderlands 2, and I was like, I don't even think Sat has a copy of that.
Another badass.
I'm killing the killer marauder because I don't give a fuck. Oh god, what is this? Oh gee, oh fucking Christ! I've hit buttons and things occurred.
Oh no.
That's what I said.
Don't kill it! Don't kill it! Fuck!
What? Oh.
Why?
Why not?
Because I'm dead. I was dying.
Duckie was gonna get the.
Is anyone gonna revive me? Okay.
What? I was.
I tried.
I was there. I could have sworn I was.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. All right.
Sorry. I thought I did.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened there.
I hit my thing out, then I hit E to get you up, but it didn't work.
I have a skill point. Let's check that out. See, I'm not bad at the game. I got a skill point.
True.
Own this shit. I own this video game.
Oh, right. Button.
Yes, the button. The button to actually activate the thing. Of course, I like one of Gage's quips for looking at the thing of just numbers, math.
Oh, I like the I love comparing loot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna drop all my white weapons. They're like barely even worth selling. More space for green weapons.
What do I have? What do I even have in my inventory? Yeah, I stopped picking things up for the most part.
Oh, Aiden could probably pick up all these heads and stuff that we're dropping and unlock them.
Oh, that's
true. Opening gummy worms.
Well, come pick up this head.
Hold on. Okay.
Here, have some free head.
Thanks.
Right here.
Wait, where's Duckie?
Behind you.
Oh, there you are. It says I'm all full of head.
Free head for you.
I can't possibly take any more head right now.
You gotta use the head, duh.
I think he has full inventory.
What's happening? Okay, I'm going over here.
Okay.
Shut up.
Get the head. No?
Shut up.
They have full inventory. You can drop stuff to pick it up, but
yeah,
like, whatever.
Consider
Is it imperative that I pick this? Never mind. I don't care.
No, you do not. No. You don't need to.
You don't need to take our head. It's okay.
We're only offering up 3, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand like 3/4 of what's happening right now, so.
Worry about it.
Texture.
Hacker's overrated. I love it. Oh, come on, really?
My favorite is when you get to like really high stats. She's like, "Don't hit reload! Don't hit reload! Don't hit reload!"
The music stopped. That means we did well.
Yes.
Yep.
Amazing.
Usually.
So, Claptrap's got a new friend, huh? I gotta say, I missed.
Don't you accuracy? Sure.
The noises he made when we set him on fire brings a tear to my eye.
Anarchy.
Brings a tear to my eye.
Dead. No. Damn it.
I thought Duckie was another marauder. She was not.
Wow, first I look like Tali. Now I look like just a bad guy.
I'm burning.
This is just like you thinking I look like the villain. We sure did kill a lot of freaks.
Time to get close enough.
Yeah. Headshot.
What's happening? Oh, there's another fucker.
More crit damage. Is that a badass? Fucking badass.
That's so badass.
Yeah, I think badasses spawn more often when you have more players.
Makes sense, yeah.
Ah, fuck.
Duckie is dying.
Really?
Duckie is dying. I'm gonna go heal
Duckie.
Duckie.
Be dying. Hold on, no, it's fine. Hold on.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, at least it was working that time.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope I don't die in the process. That would be embarrassing.
Wait, do I?
Wow.
Completionist in me is like, yeah.
For what?
Because I got an achievement and Gage.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Completionist in me is like, yeah.
Well, I've got a great answer for you.
I've spotted hell.
I got a great ass.
Isn't that right, Claptrap? It was just a question, Mr. Flynn. That's Captain Flynn for you.
That.
Oh, another badass.
Oh, it's another badass. Oh my. And here at the Borderlands 2 title drop.
Got him. Oh, I got another one up here.
I saw. That's why I started shooting.
It looks a little badass this way.
He's dead too. But yeah, it also makes sense because they usually give more loot too. So more people, more loot. Always good.
Yeah.
Loot.
There should be
a looter shooter.
Schluter.
The next. I think it's in the
Sounds
next.
like a slur.
Nah, it's not in this game.
Yeah, this game would never say a slur.
No, totally not. Never. Nope.
I'm playing Borderlands.
Playing Borderlands. Hey, Aiden, what you playing?
Borderlands.
Wrong! You're playing Borderlands 2.
Oh!
Title appears on stream for the 5th time.
Just get a bot that's voice activated anytime someone says Borderlands 2 to like pull up the.
It's like a 1 minute long cinematic in like 3D.
Damn.
Just the logo popping up over the horizon. Oh, I can
Why am I
buy
even
more of
using
these
my
to
iron
stop
sight?
fucking dying. That's crazy. Okay. Wait, did I pick it up? Is it one of those
No,
games?
it's,
It seems like it's fine.
Another badass.
I thought I saw something drop, and I was like, oh, it better not.
Wait, do I have a fire enhancement somehow?
God damn,
Someone's
fucking
using
die
fire.
then. There we go.
I don't see anything. Yeah, no, literally the badasses have like 10 times the amount of health.
A
Malomon.
proposition for you two. You and Clappy Be our personal torture buddies for life.
I think I lost my gun. Oh well.
You're holding a gun right now.
I have several guns. I'm missing the one I was using earlier.
Did you swap it out?
I don't know. Probably.
Probably, yeah. It's most likely what happened.
I have 3 guns and none of them are the one I was using.
Excuse you.
Well, this one's okay. Never mind, it's out of ammo, it sucks.
Yeah, you're gonna... There's definitely ways to get around that.
That's okay, I'll just pretend I'm good at sniping. It's been a while since I've sniped in a video game.
Snipe.
Oh, you got a silly little thing on your head. You think you're big shit?
Oh.
Duckie, please. Can I actually... There, okay. Now I'm definitely getting you. For sure.
My anarchy stands.
But my anarchy. Oh, goodness.
Look, I can't help you with that.
Oh, anarchy.
I'm gonna build you an extra arm just for high fives. Gotta love it.
Yo.
Yeah, with the right version of Fibber. Damn it, Claptrap.
Very
good at this game, by the way.
My new minion's a bona fide badass.
Claptrap.
Better shield recharge rate.
Protect me, Squire!
Fuck.
Oh, please. You're rolling in. Fuck you. No, get out of here.
No sniping ammo. I hate this.
There's another badass up here, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice.
That seems to be the theme of the game. All badass all the time. No psychos.
Oh! Oh, there goes a lot of my skin, I think.
Nah, you don't need that.
Nope. I tried.
I slipped a little. Here we go. Oh, you died. Well, this makes some more sense now.
Someone revive. Okay.
Yes.
I'm second wind as fuck right now.
My wind second.
Damn.
This could be the beginning of something else.
Is that a person? No, it's a corpse. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's people in this game? No, it's all future corpses.
Oh, well, makes it okay.
Those people you think those you think they're people? No, they're future corpses.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes. That's too bad. We're gonna have to leave Marcus behind, everybody. Sorry, everybody.
Find the controls.
Why?
I wish it was that easy.
Why?
The Claptrap is an integral part of the Borderlands cinematic universe.
Absolutely.
Hey, I was trying to use this bathroom, buddy. What the fuck? Oh, okay. Well, you can just do that, I guess.
Damn it, I'm stuck. Shit. I can get out. It's gonna take me a bit.
Keep calm.
I probably shouldn't. I should probably try not shooting my friends. Thanks, Waffle.
The Waffle is super.
That's true. They're like all about being waffly and shit.
Oh, nice.
Now I can
That
return the
was a
favor.
Good spot for me to stand.
That's fine. Lord knows I've. I have you. Fear not.
Kind of funny how you two keep dying together.
I came and revived them. What do you want from me?
Which is every time Aiden goes down, like Waffle goes down shortly afterwards, and it's very amusing.
That's because they come in to save me, and I am heinous at this game.
Always turn away from arrows that tell you to go a certain direction.
True.
But this arrow says to go this direction, and you all went up there.
Well, yeah, but we went the other way first.
Oh.
Gotta get the loot.
Oh my god.
I didn't know this chest was here.
This is the longest game of Overwatch I've ever played.
Dead. Damn it. Dead now.
Would you... My final words, would you...
Or I got you covered.
Thank you.
I'm the cover. Make them think that I look.
Love of ass. There they go.
I need more sniper ammo. I need so much more sniper ammo, it's not even funny.
That's the song. That's how the song goes. No, it's the Tom Morello battle theme from Guitar Hero 3. It goes.
Can you not
reference Guitar Hero 3?
Need more sniper ammo. Literally, the first ammo expansion to get is always the fucking sniper because you never have enough.
Yeah,
sure.
Give me shotguns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my butt hurts.
Okay, bye.
Get out. No butt hurt in this fucking Borderland team.
See how it is? I'm crying.
Get a stronger butt.
No. I like my butt the way
Oh, yes, please. I will take that. Oh, it's got a fucking scope on it. Look at this pistol. It's got a fucking 2x scope on it, or 2x,
like,
3x.
Hell yeah.
Let me see. What is the scope? 3.2x scope.
It was like it was perfectly made for you. Hey, look.
It is. Ammo dump. Delicious.
That's magically delicious.
There's nothing magical about that.
No, I'm a ginger underneath the black hair dye, so that everything I do is
Oh,
like,
okay,
has
okay,
this,
that's
like
fair.
Gaelic magic behind it. Yeah.
Understandable. Have day.
More like
Including
Gaelic magic. Get it?
Aye, that's
gay.
what. That's I fucking understand that.
Because you're gay.
I'm fucking gay.
Are we good?
I just said I'm gay.
Let my death trap recover.
Let me eat
Take,
this
like,
gummy
couple more
worm.
seconds. Gummy worm.
I gotta reload my gun anyway.
Gotta reload your gummy worm.
Gummy. Yes, reload my gummies.
Imagine reloading your weapons. All right, I'm good.
Nah.
Let me see.
Come on out, Flint! Your claptrap unit has returned!
I think I remember this too.
This might be from when you first played, not the most recent time.
Yeah. No, probably.
Boys, let's turn up the heat!
Burn, baby, burn.
That phonetic symbol over the end doesn't make any sense. This guy's stupid.
Yeah, he's a bandit.
That's the one problem I have with this game. He's
the only problem.
That
The only problem. That's the only problem.
That's
Okay.
the only thing I hate about this.
What the hell?
I'm playing.
Okay, exactly. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting how much armor he has at the start.
Oh, well, if I were not on fire... Well, if I were not on fire, that would be really cool. Ooh, let's see. Oh, let's see if I can shoot things. Oh.
I've got you.
Thanks for getting me. Wow, thanks.
You're my hero.
I come in.
I got
Duckie. Oh, Duckie's good. I
Oh,
want to
right,
be badass
be
and
bad.
get kills so I can fucking come back to life and such. I want to save Waffle, but I'm like about, yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, I went for it.
Fuck, even more.
Oh, you're like right next to Flint.
Yo,
Yeah.
we both are. It's like really cool. Hey, it's Tolly. Okay.
Oh, you're like.
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here for a second.
Damn it.
Alright, we're gonna have a better fucking shot. Oh, yep.
You okay up there, hologram?
What the hell? I keep dying. Fuck.
Yeah, this boss is annoyingly hard for how early on you fight him.
Cool.
Don't worry, you'll be fine.
I'm fine.
Why can I not revive either of you?
Wait. What the? Oh, there we go.
Okay, my death trap is just putting in some work right now.
Yeah, I see that. Not only doing damage, but tanking the thing. Okay, can I get him now? No, apparently I cannot hit him. 75 damage, what the fuck?
Yeah. Death trap.
Finally. Oh yeah, we should have let Duckie get the achievement, haha.
Damn.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
What's happening now? Is it rumbly?
It's a pretty good firework.
Bandit. Yeah, I don't do fire. I do raw damage. Raw damage. Oh, look.
There's no one else who can take it. I'll take it.
Raw damage. All that. Raw XD.
I would like the shield with the highest capacity. None of them are as good as the one I currently have.
Not even the leaden shield on the right?
Nope.
Damn.
I have 192 capacity right now.
Frick.
I bought a like shield of the day thing.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Anything good here? No. Okay.
Oh, this is better than the. This is better than the blue weapon I just got.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's fair.
Sure.
Understandable. That's Borderlands for you. Because you know we're playing Borderlands.
We are playing. It's also better for me because it has less ammo capacity, like magazine capacity.
Oh yeah, that's true. Lower capacity means you go through it faster, meaning more stacks of anarchy.
Yeah.
My gun is called Binary Phobia. This is my new favorite character.
It's you. Literally you. Hold on. Board, Cap.
Okay, well, bon voyage.
All right, before we go to the next area, this might be a good time to take a break because I need to pee.
Yep, break time.
Break time.
Good.
I'll chill here and entertain chat for spell, I think.
All right, I'll leave my stuff up then so you can talk to them.
Indeed.
Okay.
I will be right back though.
It'll also be our meat.
All right, let's see if this fucking thing I have that consolidates all the chat in the one chat works.
Pressure's on.
What?
Said the pressure's on.
Well, now I'm scared. I ate a few gummy worms, I did. I only have one little bag left. The break room in my job has these like, they're like tiny ass fucking, let's see, that has like a size on it. Any kind of measurement at all. Serving size, one package, 57 grams. So 2 of those. But like one bag of these is like 180 calories worth of gummy worms, right? And like the bag's like it's like $1 and some change a fucking bag. I can eat this shit like in no time. I could fucking swallow this entire quantity if I so chose. But I'm not trying to show off for chat, so. How's everybody doing? How's chat? This is my first time playing Borderlands 2. What do you think so far? Pretty kooky, huh? We've had a lot of wicked adventures so far. We're playing Borderlands. I promised everybody that I would. I promised everybody, my friends that were playing with me tonight, that I would like try my hardest not to be a raging cunt about it. At least for the first session. Because I know this game means a lot to all three of them. They love this game. They've had hundreds of hours put in this game each. But I can't. Like, now that they're not in the fucking voice call. Oh! God fucking damn! I enjoyed Borderlands and really bounced off Borderlands 2. That's interesting. I don't think the Handsome Collection had Borderlands 1. I don't think. Anyway, here's all my shit. I don't know what any of this shit is. I don't know what's happening. I
have tragic
That's empty,
news.
apparently. I'm trying to talk to chat. What?
I have tragic news.
Okay.
I'm on my last packet of Crystal Light.
I knew it was gonna come eventually.
We have to buy some more next week. And
that's great. Hey, Duckie, now that you're here first before everybody else, you entertain chat. I'm gonna go pee.
I'm not gonna do that.
Everybody, ask Duckie a lot of cool things.
Ask me anything.
AMA with Duckie.
How's chat doing? That's my question to you.
Meow.
Ah.
Are we all back now?
Nope. In fact, we lost Aiden.
I figured that was what you were gonna say. We play in the Borderlands.
We are playing Borderlands. Much to Aiden's chagrin.
Yep. Well, I'm just gonna have to deal with it for today.
Yep.
And if they don't want to keep playing, that's fine. We had to introduce them, 100%. But I would definitely like to keep doing this regardless. Weekly Borderlands? Oh yes, please.
Yeah, Aiden will come
on. Oh, I'm sure that they will.
Or we just all stood around Aiden and meleeed them.
We could all just... too annoying with the noise.
You get so low when you crouch.
Yeah. Oh, I got myself stuck on. I got myself stuck on Salvador's body. That my crouch, that I wasn't coming up from crouch somehow.
You're like crab walking.
Crab. Actually, I don't know what I look like. I don't remember what.
Oh, you can look at my stream.
Oh, I'm not watching your stream because I don't want. Well, because I'll have frame lag if I try to open another stream. Trust me, I wish my computer could handle it. The fact that it's handling my live 2D model and my game and my stream with 0.7% frame drop from rendering and 0.8 from encoding, I'll take that. Less than 2% of my frames dropped total, and still good game.
Yeah.
Like I'm not noticing any frame drop in game, which is kind of the most important part.
Yeah, and it's probably just Twitch.
Well, the rendering is local. The encoding I think is also local. It's usually the network that's only that's Twitch, and I've had no drop frames for network, so connection's fine.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, Aiden's about to be introduced to the best fucking voiced character ever.
I think Aiden might have escaped out the window, so they went to play Borderlands.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They realized that they were playing Borderlands.
Yeah, we should have watched them while they're going to the washroom. Not in a creepy way.
Just to
Chat.
make sure that's all they were doing, is going to the washroom. Because if they're not going to the washroom, what are they doing? Can I... There's not even anything down here. What the fuck? What?
I'm down here now.
Yeah. It's like, why even have this area?
I like how they give you a ladder so that you can get up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this ladder was not here in version 1.
Probably not.
Which random soundbite?
I don't know.
Which random soundbite went off? Which one?
I didn't hear it.
We're not watching your stream because we'd hear double out. Audio.
Somebody in chat has to let me know, please.
Can we go to the next area?
We're going. Duckie, what did you do?
I didn't die. That's the important part.
What the fuck? I just came back into the game and I fucking... Oh, Jesus Christ. Please stop laughing at me.
You're laughing at me. Huh? Ha 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 ha.
Please stop laughing at me.
Ha ha ha.
I don't hear any sound. Yeah, I don't play them over the voice call. Although I could do that now. I don't do that.
That's also in Waffle's chat.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I could make them play through the Discord call. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but I can. But I'm not going to because I respect you all. Despite the fact that I'm playing Borderlands.
Yeah, well, that just means you don't respect yourself.
Yes.
Duckie roped me into this.
Thank you, Moth.
Now I hear many sounds. That's really cool.
I mean, Duckie was definitely not the only one. No! Death Trap!
I think that bully monk just fucking teabagged me. So I'm gonna walk over here.
I'm definitely lagging right now.
Thanks again, Waffle.
Oh, also, Zero is a huge Yu-Gi-Oh nerd.
What?
I said Zero's a huge Yu-Gi-Oh nerd.
That's awesome. Why?
I am okay.
Because one of the things they say when they use their ability is you just activated my trap card.
Oh.
My internet is super fucked right now. Yep, there it goes again.
We can wait for you, I guess. Then let's go see what's up.
Like, yeah, I'm rubber banding super hard.
Hi.
And also
getting teleport move.
Yeah, right.
You've learned new movement tech.
Wow. You know that's how they win in Mario Kart DS.
Activated your almonds.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that. And there goes.
Yep. Oh, cool. I'm not
Abandon the
even seeing. No.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Hoping I don't. Okay. I think my internet is just done right now.
Rip.
Yeah. Well, we've been going 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up to everybody else, I guess.
I'm good either way.
I also literally cannot play right now, I think. Yeah, I'm getting like 400 kilobytes per second on my stream. I've dropped to 90% of my frames.
Dude, network? Ew. Ew.
Yeah.
Well.
Just activated my ult.
Now I'm debating if I want to switch to something else or not.
Yeah, and I think my internet is just fucked right now. It looks like.
Yeah, that's okay. We can be done with Borderlands
like you
for the
guys
night.
can. Yeah, I can see it in the voice call too. Like I keep getting red bar.
Oof, red barred.
Yeah, you get a little robotic sometimes.
Wait.
Yeah. Well, that's this is the joys of streaming on Wi-Fi that is shared with like 4 other people.
Oh yeah, that'll
There's
do
nothing
it.
I can do about it.
Yeah, business class internet hardwired is on mine, so
Yeah.
I haven't been Wi-Fi on my gaming rig ever. In fact, I don't even remember if the card is actually in there.
Yeah. I
think the
unfortunately
card-
do not have a choice due to my living situation, but
the card is in there, but the antenna, I disconnected the antenna, so even if it tried to connect, it would have the worst reception ever.
yeah. Well, it kind of sucks that this is happening, but hey, we played.
We played.
Good. Yeah.
Are we coming back next week?
I'm all down for it, obviously.
I'm okay to come back.
I would be down for that. I think it's down to you.
Yep.
Majority rules. We're playing Borderlands.
That's not how this works.
The 3 of us
I
could
think-
play ourselves if you really didn't want to play.
I think Aiden is playing it up a little bit
Oh no, absolutely, but
because that's their bit in this.
I know.
So, okay. I guess everybody. I think I'm gonna switch to. I think I'm gonna keep streaming. I think I'm gonna switch to some Emerald Rogue. I've never streamed Emerald Rogue.
Okay.
Unless anybody else has any plan of what to do. This is completely impromptu. We didn't think this would cut out like this.
Yeah. I would go back
Yeah.
to my usual and just do some time spinner randomizer.
And I don't have any other plans, so I could probably end anyway since it has been 2 hours.
I apologize that my internet decided to shit the bed, but
It's understandable. I'm gonna shoot the Hyperion ship. I did it.
I don't know if I don't know if my stream can actually hear me right now or not. But if you can, I'll be back tomorrow with Aiden for some more Legend of Dragoon.
It's true.
We get to see the ongoing adventures of Levitt Slambert, the true main character.
The true main character of Legend of Dragoon.
Levitt Slambert. It's just such a good name.
It's true.
Class.
If Aiden is gonna keep streaming, then I'll throw a raid that way.
Sounds good. Yep.
Okay.
Or I guess I could throw it to Waffle. Debate for my raid.
Just throw it to Waffle. Whatever.
All right.
I'm playing something weird and
Good
niche.
Good.
That's fair.
It was a good debate. Very well orchestrated.
Okay. Sounds good.
But I'm gonna end my stream now, and yeah, I guess we'll play some more next week, and hopefully my internet won't shit the bed then.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Duckie, for joining us.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be in someone's chat.
Okay.
Once my internet gets better.
I don't have.
Anyways, I'm ending stream now, so
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. All
Drop
right,
frames
Virtue, you
detected.
off?
54% in the last 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm gonna